Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Waking Sleeping Beauty. Strangely enough, it has nothing directly to do with Sleeping Beauty, but it is a documentary. It is from 2009, 2010, 2000 says 2010. IMDb says 2009. Either way, it's a movie. It's a documentary, and it runs about an hour and 27 minutes long, and it tells a story about the Sleeping Beauty of Disney, which is the animation division. I shouldn't say division because it seems like it's just, I mean, it is part of a larger whole, but more than anything, you can pretty much agree that no matter how many other aspects of pop culture and industry that Disney is part of, whether it's the parks or merchandise or just about any of the feature films and television and everything else, and all the things that are under it, like Pixar and Marvel and Star Wars, Lucasfilm. So there's those things, but more than anything, Disney is most closely identified as the House of Animation. It's its animation is what made Disney a force to be reckoned with back in the day with Sleeping Beauty, with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, uh, just all the classics from back then. I've been lucky enough to actually walk around freely, weirdly untethered by any kind of strong arm, any guide or anything. I've been able to walk around the Disney lot a number of times over the years, and I've been inside the Frank Wells Theater and seen a number of films there for the very first time. And yeah, there's at least two theaters that I've been able to watch Disney films in that place. It's kind of astounding, and there's watching this film helped me understand just how much history beyond Walt Disney himself, how much history is wrapped up in that place, because there's lots of footage from back in the day before, hey, nobody was shooting stuff on their phones. This is somebody walking around with a big camera, or a Super 8 or things like that, going around and just talking to the animators, talking to the people who were there. And this film is made by Don Hahn. He directed it, and I think it's Peter Patrick Pacheco is a screenwriter. He wrote the screenplay, but I think one of the main guys they interview a lot in this thing is where is his name? Come on, Peter Schneider. A number of these guys, they were there back in the day. They were the animators. They were the vice presidents and leaders, and yeah, it's a number of icons that made Disney animation what it is, and also in some ways worked against Disney animation. Not everybody was invited to. Well, maybe they were all invited, but not everybody chimed in. But there are a lot of voices in this. Everybody from Michael Eisner and Roy E. Disney, the nephew of Walt himself. Ron Clements. Geez. Glenn Keane, Jeffrey Katzenberg. So many people are in this film talking about the experience of that time, watching the fall and the rise of Disney animation in a time that pretty much spans around 1984 to 1994. There was a time when there was a lot of changing leadership and changing focus, and the model of the classic hand drawn animation was cost prohibitive. It was even though they were spending money everywhere else, it was cost prohibitive, and they were not as well received by audiences as some other films. Splash of Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah did a great job in the 80s, but animation like Black Cauldron lost to the Care Bears movie when it opened in the same weekend. So it was a weird struggle. Yes, right now I'm hitting on a number of big points in this. Um, I love this kind of thing. Seeing the real world story of the people who experienced it. from their own mouths. And not everybody agrees that not everything is Mickey Mouse. Not everybody's a joyful world. The Disney company was very much against becoming a Hollywood production house. That was when Eisner and everybody else kind of moved in. It was something that was very. It caused a lot of tension. So this right here is like the class of 1975. There was a point soon after that, around once they hit the 80s, where we had a lot of the old guard, the nine old men, on the verge of retirement, working alongside these 20-something upstarts who were all way too full of energy and cocaine, probably. And honestly, they were just the cultures were clashing, and it made for a difficult experience. It made it difficult to make movies, from what I gathered, and also just it was all difficult to make animated films in many ways. So the more and more Hollywood they brought in, the more and more the old guys sort of slipped away. There came a point where when movies started failing, that they were ready to fire 200 people and just shutter the animation department. And then, as we know, the Renaissance began in the late 80s with The Little Mermaid, and but there's a whole lot more going on behind the scenes behind all of that. The Little Mermaid very nearly didn't have Part of Your World as the introduction song to Ariel. It almost didn't have that. There was a chance that Beauty and the Beast was not going to be a musical. There's so many great stories. There's even a scene where Jeffrey Katzenberg is almost he is attacked by a lion and almost becomes his best friend, or dinner. Not sure which. But I mean, this movie starts out with Elton John starting to record a song from The Lion King, and from there they jump back at least 10 years, and you get to see how they reached that point. And I mean, there was a point where Disney could do no wrong, but well before that, there was a point where Disney couldn't do anything right. And I'm not saying Walt, I'm saying the company. I'm saying Disney Animation. The Disney Animation crew certainly did not get the respect they deserved in the times that they were attempting to make the movies we love, the movies we're watching on Disney Plus right now. There's a number of stories about people. They don't go into a lot of detail like with Don Bluth, but it's people whose talents I like that didn't realize he kind of just quit and took half the animation team with him. Stuff like that. There's lots of stories of conflict and struggle. And while maybe that's not the kind of thing you want to watch with the kids on a Saturday night, certainly not. It's to me this is endlessly fascinating to hear. There's tons of behind the scenes stories for all these films individually. This is sort of in many ways a highlight reel of the terrifying struggles that they went through in making each of these films, and how that sort of the snowball effect of success and failure at the same time, and how it all rolled out in the end. So I mean, this movie's already 12 years old. I'm sure there's been many more stories to be told since, but if you're into Disney history and have a love for the animators and the people who made your childhood or your adulthood something magical, I think it's worthwhile giving these guys your focus, your respect, to see what they went through to make that happen. It doesn't happen with a magic wand or bippity boppity boo. I mean, it was a struggle, and I think it's worthwhile checking out. So I highly recommend this film. You kind of get to see people. Yes, there's always another side to every story, but you get to see it from the point of view of the guys who lived it. So check it out on Disney Plus. Waking Sleeping Beauty. on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge here. Yeah. Well, that was just an automatic reflex. Okay, sorry. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
234.
234. What do we got? 234. Okay. I thought we saw this already. If we did, I'm gonna check once I log off here. But I'm pretty sure we saw this already, and maybe I just didn't delete it. I don't know. But I'm not gonna waste your time by dragging this out. If it turns out we didn't see it, then we're watching it, obviously. But how dogs got their shapes. I could have swore we saw that. Like, not more than a few months ago. I could be wrong. Anyway, how dogs got their shapes on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and I'll see you back here tomorrow or in a few seconds once I'm proven right. Maybe. Don't know. Bye. Yeah. I knew we've seen this before. This is actually on September 10th, 2020. Don't know why it wasn't removed from later iterations. It was marked off, but hey, what are you gonna do? Let's check it. Pick another one. That just doesn't seem right. Sorry about that. Boom.
650.
650. All right. That should be way up in the thes, or no, this is one of the final ones. 650. Oh, okay. All right. This is one of those Disney Channel movies, and thankfully I didn't end up with the sequel before the original, I can't imagine it would have been too hard to figure out what it's about, but I like starting with the first one when I can, so we lucked out. I mean, we're literally 2 away from the end here. Out of 652 items, 650 is Zombies, the 2018 film. Teenagers who are zombies or something, and maybe there's musical stuff and dancing and singing. I don't know. Either way, it's one of the very fantastical pseudo horror films for teens and kids. People who like the, High School Musical and other things like that, and Descendants, things like that. So, Zombies on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.